Morning and welcome to Year 4 Maths. As always this morning we will be starting with our warm-up. 2 questions, the triangle questions we'd like you to try and do in your head, and as always the 2 square questions we would like you, if possible, to use a piece of paper and a pencil if you need to do some jottings. We'd like you to try and get as close to answering these questions in 5 minutes as you possibly can. Don't worry if you can't answer it in that time, just try and get as close as you can. Press pause while you're answering the questions and then press play when you're ready to start again. The first question this morning is 4 times 1. Now this is a straightforward fluency question. The question is asking you for 4 lots of 1, or if you wanted to use commutative law you would make it 1 lot of 4. Either way the answer should be 4 because 1 times 4 equals 4. Second question this morning, 784 plus 8. This is a question that type of question that we've had before, that's using number bonds to 10. Always start at 784 and you could add 6 on to get to the next 10, which will give you 790. You would then need to add the remaining 2, which will make it 792. Or if you wanted to, you could add 10 to 784, which would make 794, and then count back 2, take away 2 to leave you on 792. Either way is a good method for you to use. Your answer then, of course, should be 792. Third question this morning, and we're into our written questions now. A 457 take away 137. This is a straightforward subtraction, there's no exchanging involved. As you can see, the most efficient method here would be straightforward column subtraction. So 7 take away 7 would be 0, 5 take away 3 would be 2, and 4 take away 1 would be 3. Method 2 you could have used would have been possibly just partitioning the numbers and then subtracting. So if we break up the numbers, you would have 450 and 7 and 130 and 7. So starting with the ones today, 7 take away 7 would give us 0, 50 take away 30 would equal 20, and 40 take away 100 would be 30. If we recombine those numbers, then we'd be left with 320. The final question on this morning's warm-up is 4 times 14. Now, this particular question, I would suggest using 2 different methods. The first method you could have used would have been the abstract method of short multiplication. Here we've lined up our columns, and the first thing we're going to say is 4 times 4 would be 16. Please don't forget to carry the 1 over into the tens column. And then secondly, 4 times 1 would be 4, plus the 1 that you'd carried will equal 5, giving you an answer of 56. Method 2 we've talked about before, and it's using partitioning. And what we would suggest here, if you're going to partition, you'd partition the 14 into 10 and 4. I would then say 10 times 4 would be 40, and 4 times 4 would be 16. Last thing you need to do then with this method is recombine the numbers. So 40 plus 16 would equal 56. As you're all well aware now, we're into the new topic of money at the moment. Our learning intention for this morning is to be able to write amounts of money. You will need the star words that I've got on the screen here. So we're going to use decimal, we're going to use pounds, we're going to use tenth, we're going to use hundredth, we're going to use pence, and the final star word this morning will be whole. All of these numbers will be important as we move through the lesson. Our InFocus question this morning has 3 children holding up 3 different amounts of money. And the question is, who has written their amount or the amount correctly? I've got one here has been written as 50 pence, one is £5, and one is 5 pence on the end there. What I want you to do is to think really carefully about this question, just for a couple of minutes. What's the same with this question, either when we're looking at these three prices, these three amounts of money, or what's the same if we were thinking about yesterday's lesson? But on the other hand, what's different? There are some differences, and we're going to return to this question during the plenary. So I want you to press pause just while you have a little think, and then press play when you're ready to continue. The first thing that I would say is that if we're looking for things that are similar, looking at these amounts of money here is that we've got the same number or the same digit that's been used in all three numbers, and that's the number 5. The difference here is that they've all been put into different columns, so each of those 5s is worth 3 totally different things. Why have we used 5? Well, we've got up here a 5-pence coin. As I mentioned just now, we'll come back to this during the plenary and see if our learning this morning has helped us. During yesterday's lesson, we were looking at amounts of money, writing amounts of money, but they were nothing lower than 10 pence. So we were looking at a tenth of a pound. Today, we're going to be looking at smaller amounts of money. And first of all this morning, we're going to be looking at 1 pence. Okay, 1 pence. Now you can see on the bar model that we have here in front of us that there's a 10-pence coin. And what we've got here is we are looking at how many 1-pence pieces, how many pennies make 10 pence. And you can see clearly here that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So just like 10-pence pieces, or 1 10-pence piece being 1/10 of a pound, here we've got 1 pence being 1/10 of 10 pence. This also means that if we wanted to find out how many pennies make a pound, how many pence pieces there are in a pound, you can see we've got a grid here that shows us. So we know that there are 10 penny pieces across the top here, but we also know that we have 10 layers of them here. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So we have 10 lots of 10 here. We have 100 pennies making 1 pound. This would mean that 1 pence would be 1/100th of a pound. Look how we write this. It's 0.01. I want you to pause the video for a moment and think, can you make any links with our decimal work from last week? So look at that again, 0.01. That's how you write 1 pence in pounds. What are the links from last week? Press pause now. Okay, welcome back. So showing 1 pence as a decimal there, it's 0.01. Exactly the same as 1/100th when we were thinking about our decimals from last week. Okay, so when you write 1 pence, okay, as 1 pence as a decimal number, that's what you need to write. So moving on, I want to think about how we could show, for example, 5 pence. And here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pence pieces. Okay, if we know that 1 pence is 0.01, what would 5 pence or 5 of them be written as? Press pause and discuss it with an adult at home or think on your own, and then press play when you're ready to listen again. Okay, so 5 pence, if that was going to be written in hundredths, then you can see that we've got 0.01 plus 0.01 plus 0.01 plus 0.01 plus 0.01. There are 5 of them, therefore we have 0.05. And if we wanted to write that in pounds, we would put the pound sign in front of it. Remember, we don't mix pound signs and pence. Now it's your turn. Look at the slide. We've got here an amount of money. 4 children have said what they think the amount of money is on this slide. What is the correct answer? Is any of them correct? Press pause now while you think and press play when you're ready to resume. Okay, the first thing we need to do here is look at the amount of money that we have. We have at the top here £2, 20, 30, 35, 36. So we actually have £2.36. You can see that I've written this at the bottom here using the correct method of showing pounds and pence. So we have £2, 20, 30, 35, 36. In this case, none of the children got the answer correct. Can you have a look at the 3 amounts of money here? Can you write the amounts down in pounds, please? Press pause while you're doing it. Press play when you're ready for me to go through the answers. You must use what we've learned so far in the lesson to complete this task. Press pause now. Okay, this particular number here, we've got £1 and 5 pence. We would write that as 1 whole pound and then 5 hundredths, 5 pence. You can see here that we've got 50 pence, 60 pence, 65 pence. If we're going to write that in pounds, there are no pounds, but we have 65 pence. And then finally, just to confuse us, they've mixed up the pounds here a little bit, but we've got £2, £3, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have £3 and 24 pence. You can see we've written that as £3 and then 24 pence are our decimal number there. Finally, I want you to look at the question that you have here. Using what you know, can you match the prices with their items, please? I want you to press pause while you're thinking about it and then press play when you're ready for us to look at the answers. Okay, so £6 and 5 pence. If we're going to write that, it would be 6 whole pounds and then 5 hundredths. So it would be 6.05. You shouldn't have written 6.5. Okay, that matches there. We've got here the washing powder is £6 and 50 pence. Now, if we're looking for a price here that has £6 and 50 pence, I'd be looking for 6 whole pounds and then 0.50. So in this case, this particular price is correct. For the pen here, 65 pence. Well, we know and we can see that 65 pence is less than £1. So it would be no pounds and then 65 pence. So 0.65 would be the same as 65 pence. And then finally here, we've got £5 and 60 pence would be the price £5.60. So 5 whole pounds and 60 pence. Hopefully you were able to match those up correctly. The odd price out here was this one. This one was not shown anywhere. £5 and 6 pence is not up there. Okay, it's time now for your independent learning task this morning. And using what you've learnt so far this morning, could you please complete worksheet 2 on pages 45 and 46 in the workbook? Press pause while you are working and press play when you have completed the task and are ready to move on. And finally this morning, we're going to look back at the InFocus question that we had at the beginning of the lesson. The question was who had written the amount correctly, and we had 3 prices that were put up. The question was who was correct. So in this case, we needed to know what 5 pence was if we wrote that as a decimal number. Now, hopefully, you'll be able to tell me now that it is the chap on the end here, okay? Because he has 5 pence. 5 pence, when we write it in decimal notation, is the same as 5 hundredths. So 5 pence is matched up with 5 hundredths there. It cannot be 5 pounds, which is what has been written here. And this one is the same as 50 pence. We can see quite clearly it is a 5 pence coin. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.